Now let's open the Bible. Today's passage is from John chapter 4, verses 4 through 18. John chapter 4, verses 4 through 18. Now he had to go through Samaria, so he came to a town in Samaria called Sychar, near the plot of ground Jacob had given to his son Joseph. Jacob's well was there, and Jesus, tired as he was from the journey, sat down by the well. It was about noon. When a Samaritan woman came to draw water, Jesus said to her, "Will you give me a drink?" His disciples had gone into the town to buy food. The Samaritan woman said to him, "You are a Jew and I'm a Samaritan woman. How can you ask me for a drink? For Jews do not associate with Samaritans." Jesus answered her, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is that asks you for a drink, you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." "Sir," the woman said, "you have nothing to draw with, and the well is deep. Where can you get this living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us the well and drank from it himself, as did also his sons and his livestock?" Jesus answered, "Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again. Then whoever drinks the water I'll give them will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give them will become in them a spring of water welling up to eternal life." The woman said to him, "Sir, give me this water so that I won't get thirsty and have to keep coming here to draw water." He told her, "Go call your husband and come back." "I have no husband," she replied. Jesus said to her, "You are right when you say you have no husband. The fact is, you have had 5 husbands, and the man you now have is not your husband. What you have just said is quite true." Do you like spicy food? Have you tried 불닭볶음면 before? I've never tried, and I will never try, since I'm not a big fan of spicy food. I was hesitating to say this or not, but when I first moved to the States, which is, I don't remember the exact date, but I know it was August 20-something in 2011. Guess what? Some of my youth students were not even born. So I was like, anyway. They were disappointed because I did not like spicy food. The first food I've ever tried ever since I came to the States was the Baconator from Wendy's. So until I graduated from college, my friends used to call me Paul the Baconator. So they gave me a word when I graduated. They said, "The man who ate the most Baconator in 4 years" was the kind of the award I got from my friends. Well, but still, I'm not a big fan of spicy food. I tried, personally, I love beat up Buffalo Wild Wings. One day, was not a long ago, I always get 7 mild wings and 7 Asian zing, because Asian zing seems like that reminds me of some chicken I ate when I was young in the Korean traditional market, like that cheap but delicious flavor. So anyway, so I ordered mild wings, and I came home and I started eating. I always start with mild wing, and I ate it. I'm like, my mouth is on fire. What's wrong with it? And then I checked the receipt, and they heard mild to wild. So if you know the flavor, there's a big difference between mild and wild. So I was like, wow, I feel so bad because like even mild is spicy to me. Maybe I should stop being a Korean. That's what I was thinking. And then like when I saw wild, I'm like, it's still fine. Anyway, I'm not a big fan of spicy food. And for some of you do not know, I do not eat peppers. I don't eat peppers. I don't eat carrots. I don't eat eggplants, and I don't eat peppers. I have reasons for this, but let me explain. This week, let me just explain why I do not eat peppers, because it's related. So when I was in middle school, I went out to eat with my church brothers. They were in their like early 30s. We were really close to each other. They said, "Let's go to eat samgyetang." Samgyetang is like a traditional chicken soup bowl. And then we went there, and he said, "Hey, here's a pepper. It's big, so it's not going to be spicy." So I took a bite. And I'm like, holy crap, it's so spicy. And then they were like, ha ha ha, so if you drink this can of Coke, you'll be fine. So I drank the can of Coke without any rest, and then a new pain started kicking in my mouth. One lesson I got: when you are eating a spicy food, do not drink soda. It's going to introduce a new type of pain into your mouth. And I read an article later. Feeling spicy is like a pain to your tongue. I heard that's why and then correct me if I'm wrong, as there are so many medical professionals here, but I just read it on YouTube. I read it on online, so I'll just say it. So it's if we feel some type of pain, I get it because that's the kind of pain I got when I work out, and I feel happy about it. So when you feel like moderate amount of pain, you feel some type of like whatever you get, and you feel happy, and then that's why you are free from the stress. I think if some people nod their heads, so I think it's right. So basically, feeling spicy is pain, and then drinking soda gives you another pain. So it's gonna add up to your pain. So that's what I learned. Do not eat spicy food with soda. Then I learned if you start drinking milk with it, you will feel much better. Or drink some lukewarm temperature water. That's what I learned. So from this story, I learned that what I drink matters. What I drink help me to feel better. What I drink help me to feel stronger. Or what I drink can even help me to get a faster recovery. So as you can tell, I love workout. And then whenever I work out, I drink BCAA type of drink. If I don't have BCAA, I drink caffeinated drink because it helps me to stay awake. So, and then it helps my recovery. But on the other hand, if you drank alcohol really heavy last night, your hangover today will be no joke. And then I know if you are trying to lose your weight, you need to stay away from juice, or you need to stay away from soda because it has a lot of calories in it. So what we drink actually can help us to get healthier, but also make us unhealthy. So this made me ask another question. Why do we have to drink? And I try to come up with a bunch of reasons because I love Coke. Coke tastes good. Pepsi sucks. Coke is better. That's why I drink Coke. But the foundation of the reason why we are drinking something is because we are thirsty. Because we are thirsty. When I was in elementary school, I used to play soccer in a club. There was a weird coach. Like one time he beat me up for about an hour. I passed out. He woke me up, beat me up again, and woke me and beat me up again. He was a fun dude. Anyway, one day he said, "Okay, we're going to have a 3-hour-long summer morning workout session. Lasts from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. And he said, we are going to train your mentality so you are not allowed to drink any water during these 3 hours. So we are not allowed to drink water for 3 hours. Then we only allowed to drink like about this size cup of water after the 3 hours, and then we were now allowed to drink an hour later, and then we were allowed to drink more like an hour later. Like from that experience, I learned feeling thirsty can be really painful to me. Because like if I feel thirsty, my throat starting hurt, and then my eyes get blurry, and I cannot really function properly. So being thirsty is painful. And then because we feel thirsty, we drink water or we drink something else. But here's a question. If you drink like gallons of water, and if you still feel thirsty, how would you feel about that? You are feeling thirsty, and then it's too painful for you. And then if you still feel thirsty after drinking like a lot of water, and then this painful thirst does not go away, how would you feel about that? It's going to be really painful to most of us. I think to all of us. And then even though like this woman does not, the woman we see in the Bible today does not say, the Bible does not say the woman was thirsty or not. This woman has some type of needs in her that cause a lot of pain in her. It was like, so she was so thirsty in her life for something. She was hunger for something in her life, and then she tried to resolve that thing by doing something, but nothing has been working for her. And every time she was making another attempt, that gave a lot more pain to her. So today, I want us to think about this woman's story and what caused her her pain, and what attempts she tried to reduce the amount of her pain, and then what kind of results she got. And then by doing so, I hope that we will be able to learn that God is going to speak to us in any moments. The first message we learn from this passage is this. Jesus is saying to us, I'll find you. I'll find you. Last week, we shared a story of Jesus visiting a woman who had suffered from bleeding over 12 years. This woman was the one who was completely neglected, completely abandoned, and completely isolated from the society because of her illness. Even though Jesus was tired, he made his way through the crowd because she wanted to meet this woman. And this similar thing is happening in today's passage. To explain this, let me give you a little bit of historical background. If you read chapter 4, verses 1 to 3, this is it says Jesus was traveling from the region of Judea to the region of Galilee. As you can see here, the region of Judah is located in the southern area of Israel, and region of Galilee is located on the northern part of Israel, and Samaria is located in somewhere between these two regions. So the fastest route to go to region of Galilee from the region of Judea is just to go straight from Bethlehem or Jerusalem, to go straight up to the region of Galilee. However, as you can see on the map, the green and the red lines are the routes that the Jewish people used to take to travel. Like, they are taking detours. If you see, like, the easiest way they can go is from here to here, and then but they like cross the rivers twice to go here, and then these people, they go all the way around these to go to the region of Galilee, and then there's a reason why. So before the New Testament, there were two countries in Israel. One kingdom was called the southern kingdom of Judah, and then the second kingdom was called the kingdom of the northern Israel. And then the kingdom of northern Israel was destroyed by the Assyrian Empire in 721 BC. And this is what they did after they conquered the land. The Assyrian Empire forced northern Israel people married to the Assyrian people because they knew Jewish people hated mixed bloods. For them, once your bloods are mixed with other nations, they thought they are being unclean and impure. And then, as we shared last week, being unclean or impure was contagious. If I'm impure, if I touch you, you are being unclean and impure. For this reason, the people from the southern kingdom of Judah, we call them Judeans, Judeans did not want any interactions with the people from northern kingdom of Israel, because in their eyes, these people were dirty. In their eyes, people from the Judean area was the only one who kept their blood pure, meaning they were the only true one nation that God has called for. So none of Jews took even a step into the land of Samaria. But verse 4 says this: now he had to go through Samaria. What does have to mean? It marks what you have to do. It records that Jesus was feeling of duty to enter this land. But here's the thing: no one has asked Jesus to do so. No one has forced Jesus to enter the land. But Jesus felt some kinds of duty during this time. And then verses 5 to 6 say this: after he entered the place called Samaria, especially the city called Sychar, he found a well, and he was sitting by the well around noon. Samaria, if you look up Google Maps, Samaria is a desert terrain. Can you imagine the weather at noon in the desert? At noon, Jesus went to the well. Let's think about it. If you see how people in the Middle Eastern area live, in their daily time, most of them have a nap time from like noon to 2, because those 2 hours were way too hot for them to be active outside of their house. So there was no one at around the noon who is going to go outside to get some water from the well. Imagine you are a follower of Jesus. You enter the land of Samaria, the most unholy place in your eyes, and sit by the well at the hottest hour of the day. Wouldn't you think Jesus was crazy? But again, Jesus had to do this because he wanted to meet this woman. It's my favorite part. Do you know why Jesus went to the land of Samaria? Do you know why Jesus had to be out there in the hottest hour of the day? It was because of this woman. Jesus did not go there to meet some intellectuals. Jesus did not go there to meet some powerful people. But Jesus had to be there at this specific time because he knew that this woman who had 5 wives and who is now alone will be there at that time, at that moment. We don't really know why she was alone. Her husbands might have been dead in the wars, or she might have gone through some really difficult divorces 5 times. We do not know a lot of details about her, but what we know is this. Everyone living in the town knew about her, and then she knew about it. So she wanted to avoid the crowd. That's why she was out there when there was no one around. And that means she was an outlier in the village. She was isolated in the village because during that time, people saw her as a curse. No one was around her. The well during this time was a square at the time. It was a place where people gathered to talk and say hello to each other. It was a space like the current Discord server or community where rumors are generated. But here she appears at noon because she knew that it was when there will be nobody there. And Jesus knew about it. That's why he went to that place at that specific moment of the day. What we can learn from this is this. Jesus goes to the center of your life. Jesus will visit you in the midst of your pain. Jesus visited this woman who was living the most miserable life among those who were treated awful. I hope you can remember this clearly. And then I will repeat this message over and over and over. Have you ever reached for something and then nothing has been done? Or are you thirsty for something? Or even if you worship, even if you read the word, even if you pray, even if you serve, even though you sing praises, does your life is not getting better anyway? Or is your life getting drier? Or are you struggling with the problems in your life without finding a solution? Or are you feeling lonely right now? Then I hope you can remember this. I hope God can speak to you with this message. At some point in your life, God is going to come to you and God is going to visit you in the midst of your pain. It could be, God may come to you in the form of your friends. God could come to you in the form of some TV programs. Or God could come to you and speak to you in the form of YouTube videos. Or God could come to you in the form of some sermons. But God is going to speak to you at some point in our lives as we are going through the sufferings. So there's one thing we need to do. As this woman has been doing, we have to endure our moment by moment, believing that He's going to come to us. And then the second message I want to share with you is this. Do we really need Jesus? Verses 13 and 14 say this. Jesus answered, "Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again. But whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give them will become in them a spring of water welling up to eternal life." As this message can be comforting for some of us, but this also can be a terrifying message, because those who received Jesus' words as the truth were neither priests nor the powerful people. The people who really meet Jesus truly in their lives were the people who have been marginalized and abandoned by the society. And there's a reason why. Those who thought they were living a good life and those who thought they were trying to live a good life try to kill Jesus because they had so much more things to keep. They did not really need Jesus. They already thought they knew the truth. They already thought they have achieved so much. They already thought they have been living a good life. And when Jesus was asking more things from them, they were not happy about it. So they wanted to get rid of Jesus to protect what they have already earned. A woman suffering from bleeding. And this Samaritan woman in today's passage, there's similarity between these two. If you see them as a class, they will be located at the very bottom of the society. Saying that this woman had 5 husbands during this time means she wanted to be approved. She wanted to achieve some success in her life by having husbands. Because she has some lack in her life. She would have tried to fill her life with someone else. I don't know what happened to her husbands, but she tried to make up for her lack through her husbands. Maybe her first marriage did not go well. Then she tried second. Then she tried third. And then she tried fourth. Then she tried fifth. When nothing has been working for her, but instead of making her life better, instead, she was getting hurt more and more as she was making more efforts in her life. She was too thirsty. She thirsted for approval. She thirsted for love. She thirsted for success, but nothing could quench her thirst. Here, I'm not here to talk about a marriage or something, but here is the message I really want to ask you today. When you encounter problems, and then when you feel like your problems are not being solved no matter what you do, what do? We are trying to solve the problems of our lives as best as we can. We are trying to solve the difficulties in our lives by all possible means. Maybe those means have been working, but here's the question. Is your life at peace right now? Or do you need more? We may be happy with ourselves today, but next week or even tomorrow or even an hour later, we'll compare ourselves to each other. And we will need more. Even though we are satisfied with what we have, even though we are living the best moment in our life right now, we don't know if we are going to satisfy a week later. Because whatever we receive from the world cannot satisfy us ultimately. And Jesus is asking these same questions to us. Everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again. But are you trying to quench your thirst by drinking this water over and over again? But Jesus is asking this, but whoever drinks the water I give you will never thirst. Indeed, the water I give them will become in them a spring of water welling up to eternal life. After failures and failures, there's one thing that this woman learned. It's the worship. What is worship? Worship is to glorify God. We can only glorify or honor someone when we know this being is better, higher, and superior to us. Therefore, worship is this. Worship is the time we confess, God, I've tried everything, but now I finally realize and finally confess, I cannot do anything without you. If I don't meet you right now, if I don't experience your love and presence right now, I cannot live a day anymore. If you do not answer to my prayers, I feel like I'm going to die. Because I need you so much, God. I want you to meet me right now. What does worship mean to you? Is the worship the time we seek God with all we have? Or is the worship just one of many schedules of our week? There's one prayer and hope I have. I hope and pray that as we go through this period of Lent 2022, I hope we can confess this all together. God, I need you. Rather than obeying God after failing multiple times, I want us to seek God first from today. I hope we can start our day with prayer and the word instead of checking phone first. And I hope we can end our day with a simple prayer before thinking about tomorrow's schedules. Do you really need Jesus? If we really need Jesus, our worship and our time of prayer and our time of praise will be the time when we are being revived in the presence of God. Or is the existence of Jesus, that you being a Christian, a burden on your life? If we do not accept Jesus today as the Lord of our lives, we will continue to crucify him over and over. Because he's going to tell us, you should forgive your enemies. Because he's going to tell us, even though all other people around the world are marginalizing them, you have to love them. As I love this woman. As I love this woman who was bleeding for 12 years. And as I came to you to save you. So I want to sing this song with you today. With All I Am. We have sung this song like multiple times. But while we are singing this song, I want you to pay attention to the lyrics. And I want you to think about, what should we bring to God? What are some things that you are hiding from God? And what are some burdens that you do not want to take down before the cross? And if you have any, let's take all the burdens down before him. And let's confess, God, I need you. Let's pray.